Howdy everyone, my name is Teresa So, and today I will be teaching you how to draw reveille. So, what I would like to start off with is drawing a nice horizontal line across the middle of your page. It does not have to be perfect, and one line vertically all the way down. This kind of gives you a frame of reference, and if you have a reference image as well, I do one down the line and one across horizontally. Okay, so this definitely helps with what we're going to start off with. We're going to start off with having some lines as a guideline of the general shape of the drawing. As you can see here, it is giving a round, almost like an oval-like structure. So we're going to start off with the round top right over here. We are going to draw the ears. The ears are going to be tilted kind of flappy like this. And then we're going to draw around and around, and we're kind of just giving some guidelines to have a better shape of what the dog will look like. So then we're gonna do some diagonal lines, gonna get the shape of the ears more specific. As you can see, I'm drawing with a very light hand. Okay, and also my lines are not very exact. It looks a little bit more painterly. It's not like very rigid. And rigid, I mean like I'm not pressing really hard into the drawing into the picture like this. I'm doing very light strokes, and then I'm also doing these almost like these little M's or W's, you know. This adds texture to the painting and or sketch, and it really just helps make this look more fur-like. So I'm adding some M's and W's. I also call them fireworks because they stay in one spot, then it goes out, then stays in the other spot, then it goes out like this. Kind of like a firework. Kind of looks like blades of grass as well. So whatever you want to call it, you just draw that around the painting. And then we're going to do a scoop and around. We're going to do a scoop and around. So these are upside down triangles right over here. We're also going to fill it in with some more fur in the inside of the ear. Okay, so next we're gonna move on to the sideburns, or whatever you'd like to call this shape right over here. So we start off with the bottom, and we're gonna add some extra fur, and then we're gonna round it out. All right, we're gonna go on the other side. We're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna round it out, just like that. We're then gonna do an M shape, and you see on here it's going to go M, M, and this is gonna be the center. So a little bit off center from the middle, but again, if you made a more center, it can also be on the middle as well. But just kind of a guideline of where you wanna place that curve at the end. I also want you to notice that this M is a little bit bigger than this M. Like there's less space on this side than there is on this side. So when you're drawing your M, leave more room on this side than on the left side. Okay, perfect. It doesn't have to be perfect. We can always add some more detail. Now we're gonna move on to the eyeball. So draw the line with your finger from the middle of the ear down to around the eye level area. I'm gonna do a half cube almost with a rounded top on the edge, and then we're gonna bring it around and make more of a circle on the bottom. And that's how you make a reveille eye. Now we're gonna do the same thing on the other side, but notice that this eyeball is smaller than this eyeball. So make sure, and don't forget the nose is kind of covering the eye, and that's why it's a little smaller. So on the opposite side, make sure the eyes are parallel. You're gonna do a eye, but slightly smaller and more of like cube kind of style. Then I'm gonna draw the eyebrows, which is just right above the eyes, and we're gonna loop around. These are almost like eye bags. I don't really know, but it's fur texture, fur structure, and we add that. Then we're gonna draw a little bit further down, and this is where we add the nose. Alrighty, so the nose is going to be more flat on the top and more round and skinnier on the bottom. Then you're gonna draw some nostrils. Nostrils are kind of like two circles, but on kind of like also like a teardrop, where like the very bottom part is a little skinnier. And we're gonna do that. We're just gonna shade it in. Now, notice when I'm shading it in, I'm kind of using like line strokes. You can also do cross hatching, which is this way and that way. You can do straight, you can do sideways. There's many different techniques as to how you want to shade your thing. And you know, you kind of develop it by putting on more pressure to make it darker. And yes, so then we're gonna go around the snout, and we're gonna go kind of flat on the bottom, and then we're gonna round it back out, and then that's where the mouth is gonna be. Okay, it's gonna end around here. We're gonna go around again, or almost copy the same shape but just a little further down, and then you see the middle line of the nose. We're gonna draw it out, and we're gonna stop the mouth at the nose. Alrighty, so then we're gonna do the tongue. So the tongue is kind of like the eyeball, draw it down, and then the tongue is just gonna be here. It's again kind of tracing the outline of the previous one, but just a little bit smaller. And now what we can do is we can shade it in. So this is like the black part of their mouth, so just kind of get it dark, and then as well as the tongue is getting shaded by the nose, so add some texture there. For me, a lot of layering is important, so the more you build on it, the darker it will get. Alrighty, now let's move on to adding some more dimension. So I'm gonna draw like almost like a mountain, and this mountain is kind of gonna give the reveille a better like nose shape, because you want it to look like it's protruding out. You see like this area right here, we're getting that done. A lot about art is really just adding the detail, and that's what makes art so special, and what makes your art look significantly better. So attention to detail is always important. Now we're gonna do the other side, kind of like the eye bag. So I'm gonna draw a T right here, one line here, one line down, and then there's like another extending T over here, and you kind of just shade it in a bit. Alrighty. Also, this is probably my like 200th time doing reveilles, so if your first one doesn't turn out as good as mine, please do not be discouraged. I've been doing art for a very, very, very long time. I am a nationally and internationally awarded and recognized artist, so I am qualified to teach, but know that this comes with practice. And I would further just go around the M and kind of add some more texture, adding some more sprucing, if you will. And then I want to emphasize these lines a little bit more before I finally do the eyeballs. So we are gonna go around. Now I'm putting in, definitely, you can probably hear the pressure I'm putting in it. Okay, lastly, we're gonna do the eyeballs, which is my favorite part personally. There is a white circle here and a super faint white circle here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna fill it in however way you'd like, and you're just really gonna try to get it as dark as possible. Ideally, this should be like the emphasis of your painting, so I would make it the most darkest part, because that's what I would like to emphasize the most. However, if you have something else you'd like to emphasize, you know, and when everything else is light, contrast is what makes things stand out. And the word contrast means like things that like kind of stand out versus like white and black. Anywho, so today you've learned how to draw reveille. I hope you really enjoyed it. Don't forget to erase these lines when you're done, and then sign your drawing at the end. Thank you so much.